Okay, back from the California Investment Conference put on by Cambridge House. Pleasure to have you guys watching, and I have to say it's a pleasure to be down here. This is a wonderful venue. It's incredibly relaxing. The weather is really nice. Very, very different from some of the high pressure, for lack of better terms, conferences that we attend. I've got a gentleman with me right now by the name of Martin Shefsky. Martin is involved with a company called Northern Gold. The belle of the mining industry, our good friend Laura Stein, introduced me to Martin and his business partner earlier today, and I have to tell you, I was really, really taken with the company. It is Eastern Canadian based, very large amount of assets, which Martin is going to tell you about. Open pit operation, some very good 43101 numbers right now that look like they're going to be getting better and better. They seem to really have all the bases covered. I wanted to share this with you guys just because, to me, it's interesting. Now, please don't construe this as investment advice, because it's not. I'm not a registered investment advisor. I'm simply telling you about a company, in this case, that I may or may not invest in the future, number one. And number two, I am very, very interested in it, and I wanted Martin to tell you about it. Okay, Northern Gold.
Yes.
Where do we start? Now, you got the property back in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. And we covered all the bases in terms of things like capitalization, capital on hand, etc. They're in pretty good shape right now. Let's start out. Your 43101 numbers, if I'm not mistaken, for 2010 were in the area of 1.1 million ounces.
Correct.
The numbers haven't been released for 2011 yet, but they will be shortly. Things are looking pretty good there right now with the defined asset that you have right now. You've got a mine life of about 8 years, and you've got, once it goes into production, and you will be going into production at a rate right now, without counting the 2011 numbers, of 130,000 ounces a year.
That's correct.
You're thinking that's going to get better?
Yes,
okay.
That's according to the preliminary economic assessment that was released with the last 43101. And we're expecting to have an updated 43101 resource before the end of Q1.
Okay, so momentarily. How did you guys get involved in this particular part of the world? I mean, there's some pretty big players up there, and you've got a pretty big land position.
Yes, we were able to identify this property through a geologist that was working for us at the time, who had been with LAC working on this property in the 80s. And that allowed us to have a wealth of information and make a decision to go after this property. It was a long, drawn-out negotiation. We were able to finally make a deal that we at Northern believed was very beneficial to the company. And we executed the agreement initially as an option agreement. And once we started to see the size and scope of this project, we negotiated 100% interest in the property.
So at this point in time, you have 100% interest.
Correct.
What are your plans, Martin, for, let's say, the next, I don't want to get too long a horizon out there, but let's say for the next 6 months. I know you've got 4 drill rigs operating right now.
Correct.
You're pretty funded for the time being anyway.
Yes.
So what's going to happen between now and the end of the summer?
Well, the goal is to continue drilling with the 4 rigs, expanding both on strike and at depth. The deposit is open to the east, to the west, to the north, and at depth. So the idea is to both continue stepping out on the deposit, adding more inferred ounces, as well as converting the main body of the deposit to the measured and indicated category.
The thing that I find really interesting about this company, aside from the size of the asset, which is substantial by anybody's measure, but they're also located fairly close to a town, so they don't need a camp. Basically, your miners, your exploratory people, etc., for the most part, live in Reno-Randa, if I'm not correct.
Or Kirkland Lake.
Or
correct.
Kirkland Lake, yeah.
Yes.
So, and that's, what, an hour away or thereabouts?
Kirkland would be about an hour away, and Rouen about 45 minutes. So very close proximity, lower cost exploration, which allows us to put the money in the ground.
And if I'm not mistaken from our discussion this morning, in terms of mining methods, we're not talking hard rock, we're talking basically open pit.
Yes, very large scale open pit mining.
Interesting situation. We are going to keep you informed on Northern Gold in the future. This was kind of an impromptu interview, for lack of better terms, just because I spent an hour and a half or so talking with these gentlemen, and I have to tell you, it's something that I think merits attention. If you want to get more information on the company, we'll put up a banner. Simply click on the banner. You get all the information you want. Interest of full disclosure, I don't own any stock in this company at this point in time. If I decide to buy some, 3 days notice as always, and they're not sponsors, so we have no financial interest at this point. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you, Al. I
Okay,
appreciate
buddy.
your time.